Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it's time for me to welcome you to episode number 7 of our Leicester City FIFA 16 career mode. Now in today's episode, as per usual, now that we're out of the transfer window, I'll be bringing you 3 games, the first of which is a Capital One Cup 4th round tie against Bournemouth. We'll also be playing Bromwich Albion in the Barclays Premier League and also Watford in another Barclays Premier League tie. But before we get into that, we've got some big stuff. A few episodes ago I got an international offer from Portugal. It was very split between the two. So it was sort of a yes or no. Now it's become a lot more complicated because now England, the English FA, have decided to get themselves into the mix. So they've come along with an international management offer as well. So I'm sort of going to ask you the same sort of question for my question of the day. This is the last opportunity for me to ask you this, as my invitation to be the Portuguese national team offer expires after this episode. So this will have to be the final decision, but in the description you'll see a straw poll. The first straw poll in the description will be for should I take the English national team offer or the Portuguese national team offer, or neither, and just focus on Leicester City. So a straw poll, a link to the straw poll will be in the description below. Make sure to vote on that if you want to see me take over as an international manager or not, as the case may be. And the second straw poll in the description below will also leave a list of about 8 players that I could train. Your favourite player, make sure to vote for that player, and I will train them next episode. If there's any players that you didn't see in the straw poll, make sure to comment them in the comments section, and I will add them for next time, because this will be a thing that I do every single episode. But now it's time to get into the first game of this episode, and we're playing Bournemouth in the Capital One Cup. Hence we've got a slightly weakened team. Jack Barnby coming into the side there, Dyer, Okazaki and Cranbridge up front, Dele Alli into the side there, and Jeffrey Schluck replacing Masuaku as well. We're going forward with the first chance of the game, and it's Gökhan Inler there getting away from his marker and forcing a good save out of Adam Federici in the Bournemouth goal there in the 13th minute. Going forward again here, this time with Cranbridge finding Nathan Dyer. Sylvain Distin behind him goes in for a fairly rash challenge, gets the ball, but it's from behind, and hence it is another penalty. Yet another penalty in this series, and it is yet another penalty dispatched. This time, deciding to give it to Shinji Okazaki, because I know Andre Kramaric has scored so many goals and so many penalties in this series. I thought I'd leave it to someone else this time, and this time it is the Japanese international, Shinji Okazaki, that gives us a 1-0 lead in the 24th minute. But Bournemouth are now going to try and respond to that, and they force a good save there with Daniels, a good save there from Kasper Schmeichel just a few minutes later. Now Bruno Perez finding some space. They're going for a long shot with his very good long shot and shot power attributes, and forcing a good save out of Federici there low to his right-hand side. Max Gradel now forcing a save out of Kasper Schmeichel there, tipped over the bar. Not very convincing there after Gradel, of course, scored a free kick for Bournemouth in the Premier League fixture. But now Gökhan Inler turning past his marker, and he scores this time. A lovely finish there from just inside the area, blasts it into that far post. And you can see it from this angle, the spray kicking up and everything. It's a lovely finish. Absolutely lovely finish, one of the best goals that we've seen in this series so far, and the Swiss midfielder has given us a 2-0 lead, but as you can see we're failing to clear the ball in our own penalty area, and this time Bournemouth have scored, and it's Callum Wilson yet again. It's Robert Huth who just does not get the ball clear, and we have been punished, much like we were last episode when Robert Huth decided to do the same thing. Mark Albrighton, though, going forward with 10 minutes to go. It's a sweeping finish there from Andre Kramaric, but it hits the inside of the post, and that was the chance to put the game to bed. Now into the 87th minute, Shinji Okazaki's managed to turn Sylvain Distin, who's been having troubles all day. He goes in for the slide tackle, and that is another penalty given away by the same player, Sylvain Distin. Clearly been watching too much of Joey O'Brien from the West Ham game earlier on in the series. He's also been red carded, so a similarly bad day at the office for the French defender. But Shinji Okazaki steps up to get his brace and to make it 3-1 with just a minute of the game to go. As I kick something under my desk, I apologise if you heard that, but nevertheless, there's some very nice and very energetic celebrations here from the squad, and it's a good win in the end, and that now puts us through into the quarterfinals of the Capital One Cup. But it's not actually over yet, because Shinji Okazaki here has got an opportunity to make it 4-1 to get his hat-trick, but he's denied there by Adam Federici after Bournemouth went on all-out attack there. The one-on-one, good save from the Australian goalkeeper, but as you can see, we have finished the game 3-1 winners thanks to Shinji Okazaki, the man on the screen a moment ago. He gets man of the match, unsurprisingly. Gökhan Inler there with an 8 rating as well after his goal, and some good ratings there for Kasper Schmeichel and a few of the players who were substituted. But now getting back off the pitch, and as you can see, we appear to have got a transfer request from Marcin Wasilewski. Unfortunately, I didn't see him say that he wanted to play more games, so I've just sort of meandered along, keeping him on the bench, and unfortunately now he wants to leave, but I didn't actually see the message where he said that he wanted more playing time, and now unfortunately he's handed in a formal transfer request. It is now, however, time to move into the second game of this episode. Masuaku and Kante back into the side there. Mahrez and Sisto as wingers, Vardy and Embolo as strikers here in this game against West Bromwich Albion. The second game of the episode and the first in the Barclays Premier League. And as you can see there from that little graphic, we are the best defensive side in this league, and there you can see Robert Huth, who's had a part to play in that, and it's something that I hadn't actually realised was the case, that we were so solid defensively. Only 7 goals conceded in our 9 Premier League games so far, but as you can see there, Pione Sisto is the first player to test either of the goals there. Ben Foster pulling off a pretty decent save, but as you can see, at half-time, it was a pretty dull first half. There only 1 chance in the entire first half. But now, as you can see, Sisto going forward again. But Ben Foster, yet again, getting the better of the Danish winger. Now, Riyad Mahrez playing it through there for Bruno Perez, who puts it into the back of the net. But unfortunately, the Brazilian is offside. He hasn't realised it yet, but the linesman's got his flag up over on the far side. And that's chalked off our potential 1-0 lead. And Bruno Perez is going forward again. I really do like this guy. I have to say, you guys have made a fantastic choice. But it's a fantastic save there from Ben Foster instead. One-handed there after the very powerful shot from Bruno Perez. The man, him and Sisto, really the only people that had any part to play in that game from our perspective. And there you can see the ratings at the end of a fairly dull game. Where would we be without a 0-0 draw in one of these episodes? But a good rating, a good set of ratings for all our defenders there, as well as Kante, Inler, Sisto as well. But there you can see now we're going to move on to some training after a fairly dull game there. But it's not bad so far. A draw in the Premier League, a decent result against West Brom, though we probably should have won the game with the chances we had. And of course a 3-1 win, against Bournemouth. But now moving into some training, we're training Kramaric there with 3 slots and Mahrez with 2 after you guys told me to train is he Moroccan? The Moroccan winger? I think Riyad Mahrez is Moroccan. I'm not entirely sure. But I trained those 2 guys, and Kramaric has now gone up to a 74 overall. And the second week of this episode, in terms of training, we moved on to training Pione Sisto there for 2 slots, and Riyad Mahrez for 3. I also trained for a 3rd week, where I just gave Riyad Mahrez all 5 slots, but unfortunately the footage of it corrupted. Riyad Mahrez, though, didn't go up an overall in either of those 2 slots, the one that you see on the screen, the one that corrupted. So he's still 75 overall at the time that I commentate this. Nevertheless, moving on from training now, after Andre Kramaric is now a 74 overall, it is time to move into the 3rd and final game of this episode against Watford. The Hornets here travelling to the King Power Stadium, and there you can see the lineup in the background, our starting 11, an unchanged back 5 there, with Andy King coming into the side to replace Gökhan Inler, Mahrez and Sisto as wingers there, with Okazaki and Kramaric up front. Mahrez and Sisto, them and Dyer, of course, all 3 wingers yet to score a goal, but Pione Sisto trying to change that, cutting inside there from the left-hand side. He finds Riyad Mahrez on the edge of the area, 1 touch and blasts it in with his left foot, and that is the end of our winger drought. Finally, one of our wingers has scored a goal in the Barclays Premier League, and it's Riyad Mahrez, the skill master himself. Pione Sisto there, Pione Assisto even there, getting another assist to his name, finding him on the edge of the area, and that is 1-0. And as you can see, Watford have failed to clear the ball away, and it's 2-0 and a flash. Andre Kramaric there, pouncing on the defensive mistake, I think from Alman Abdi there. He blocks the clearance and then slams it past Aurelio Gomez in the Watford goal. And after just 12 minutes of this game, having scored in the 5th minute with Riyad Mahrez, who's now going forward again, we are 2-0 up inside of 12 minutes. Now moving into the second half there, and Watford are starting to come back into this game. Odion Agala there with a fairly wild shot over the bar, but Watford are just eking themselves back into this game there. Good shot there from Valon Barami, but it's a good save from Kasper Schmeichel in our goal. The cross comes shot though again from the outs, from the wing there, having to be saved there by Kasper Schmeichel and cleared by Bruno Perez. Now we're going forward again. Okazaki with a fairly tricky shot there, but a good save from the Watford goalkeeper. Was never going to beat the Hornets goalkeeper from that sort of angle and that sort of distance, and that is the end of the game after a fairly quiet second half. After an explosive start to the game, we do win 2-0, mainly thanks to Andre Kramaric and also Riyad Mahrez as well with the goals. And now Andre Kramaric has 10 goals, would you believe, in the Barclays Premier League, the first player to get to double figures in the entire league. As you can see them in the background, we've got some new youth players in the youth academy. They are all Danish and all 51 overall there, apart from Matthias Schörner. The first is 17, that's Eric Makianak, who I think is a striker. Got Lasse Jansson, who is a centre-back. Lasse Vegan Sloth, who's a centre-mid. And we've also got Matthias Schörner there, who's a right-back. And Matthias Schörner is 45 overall, but all the other 3 are 51. And they've all got very, very good potentials. They're having been scouted by our Danish scout. As you can see, I'm going to call this in the background a bit of a loan watch. We've got quite a few players out on loan there, including Tom Lawrence, Liam Moore, Callum Elder there, Paul Konchesky, Ben Hamer, Ryan Watson there, Jack McCourt, Stankovic, Joe Dodu, there Andre Olukanmi, and also Johan Benelun, who's out on loan at Watford. But Tom Lawrence there, Liam Moore, Joe Dodu, Andre Olukanmi, and Stanvicius. I don't know if I've pronounced that right. They've all gone up overalls, I do believe. I'm not entirely sure about Stanicius. But Joe Dodu, Andre Olukanmi, Tom Lawrence as well, all growing very, very well. Callum Elder as well, fairly decently as well. There's a few decent young players there out on loan. Some of them won't make it past the end of the season because their contracts are expiring. But as I said, guys like Joe Dodu, Olukanmi, Tom Lawrence, Liam Moore will all come back from their loans, and also Ben Chilwell and Jack Barmby, who aren't actually out on loan, will hopefully feature later on in this career. But as you can see there in the background, there was the table. Chelsea up on top still, having only lost one and drawn one and won the rest. Newcastle still up there in second place. We're in third there, but being chased down by United, just 1 point back, and Spurs just 1 point back as well, with Everton, Sunderland and Liverpool rounding out the top 8. But I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Career Mode. Feel free to smash the likes button if you did. 75 likes on this episode would be absolutely awesome. And don't forget to vote in the 2 straw polls in the description below for whether you would like me to become the England international manager, Portuguese national manager, or reject both, as well as choosing what players you would like me to train in the next episode. And the top 3 in the vote I will train in episode number 8. But nevertheless, subscribe if you're new around here as well, and comment about enjoying the video if you enjoyed it that much. It's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.